Steve, Nebraska.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What's going on?
Yeah, Adam, I was calling you because I'm a high school teacher, and I've heard you, when we talk about white privilege and all that, and now it's showing up on tests and social study classes, and it was a little concerning to me. It's not like an opinion piece. It wasn't, give your opinion on it and then support your opinion. It was, the question pretty much said, give 2 examples of white male privilege that shows an invisible system of racism in our country. So.
Can I make a suggestion, Adam?
David's got 28. Go ahead.
Yeah, Steve, I would say just have your kids, instead of discussing in class, just show them the O'Reilly factor every day. Oh, no, that won't work anymore.
Ooh, sick burn.
Shots fired.
Just trying to make it fair and balanced here at the Adam Carolla Show.
You can, my problem with this, as always, is if I'm female and I'm of color, of any color, and I got to sit around and hear this all day, the drum beat all day of why the white guy sitting in front of me's got all the breaks, it's going to stop my motivation. It's going to hurt me from wanting to leave the house, quite honestly. If anything is rigged, any form of anything that you participate in and you know it in advance, you tend not to want to participate. So it's a horrible message to send. Everyone thinks it's a noble message to send. It's a fucking retarded message to send because it's saying stay home. Saying, hey, people have advantages throughout the spectrum and certainly throughout history. Everyone's just going to have to work twice as hard. That's fine. I have no problem with that. This is just beating it into the kids' heads, and it's fucking ridiculous. But we'll see how it works. I'm sure it always,
the white privilege guy.
Yeah, the white privilege guy. That's me, everybody. Everyone knows my privilege. So I would be a conscientious objector to this, quite honestly. If they told me to have everyone come up with examples of why males, especially, and why white males especially had this advantage or inherent advantage to whatever. I would also look to then expand it into Eastern Indian folk who seem to be doing better than white males in this country, and Asian folks as well. If we want to go ahead and use your fucking logic and keep extending it, then we have to find out what Asian privilege is.
Steve,
because they make more per capita.
Please do not listen to Adam on this because we don't want you losing your job. We don't need you and O'Reilly losing
great.
your job.
You guys all work at the indoctrination centers that used to be called schools and get everybody fucking into this thought, and then they can all go off
the Holocaust centers? Is that what you said?
Indoctrination.
Okay.
Let's get them all into this, and then they can all go be disgruntled. You ever wonder why everyone on a college campus is pissed off now? I'd be fucking pissed off, too, if I thought it was a rape culture, and if I thought everyone who was on the lacrosse team was out drinking champagne every night and raping everyone, and I had to go home to my little hovel with the space heater. Of course they're pissed off. People used to be happy on college campuses. They're fucking rip shit now. And they're rip shit because we've been beating this drum of what a horrible society we have and how they can't get anywhere. Of course I'd feel this way. It's a fucking shitty, dangerous message to send to your kid. You get to hide behind the fucking shield of enlightenment, but it's not. You're fucking up these kids and you're poisoning them. So, have fun. I wouldn't do it. I honestly wouldn't do it. I'd just say it shouldn't be part of the curriculum. And I would move on. They can read about it wherever they want to go. They can turn on whatever news they want to watch and learn about it. They can find out all about it, but you don't have to be the one that indoctrinates them into it. Steve?
Yeah, and fortunately for me, I don't teach that class. I'm a STED teacher, and so I do read aloud tests to some of the kids. So I was reading the test, and luckily, I don't have to actually teach that class. But
good. We'll just see how it all works out. Make sure everyone can tell you why white people and why men. Oh, by the way, they got to be heterosexual. They can't be gay, right?
Absolutely.
All right, make sure they're heterosexual. No dick sucking in this group. Heterosexual, white males. Let's just keep beating the drum of why they have all the breaks and advantages in life, and then see how much happier the college students get. They're just going to be more fucking miserable. It never ends. It just fucking never ends. Everyone has an advantage. Well, everyone in this country has a huge advantage over everyone in other countries. Why don't we, or many other countries? Why don't we talk about what we have over Honduras?
Right.
You're fucking lucky to be born in 2000 and whatever, because we have polio vaccinations now, whereas we didn't have it before. So we talk about the privilege. How about calendar privilege? How about the fact that you're born in a time when you have heat and air conditioning and lights, and we don't start fires in the house because we're not using whale oil to warm ourselves? How about calendar privilege, huh? Jesus fucking
Steve,
Christ.
call us back with some of the better creative answers.
Yeah, Steve, call us back with that. I'd love to hear all the fucking about it. All right. David Wild disagrees with everything I say, which is
true.
Yes. I'm not saying, okay. People have advantages over other people, and historically, white people had advantages historically in this country. We've done a lot of stuff to take the tide another direction. Whether there's advantages or not advantages to being tall, or to being thin, or to being male or female, or having a small nose or big nose, or male pattern baldness, or full head of hair, I'm not arguing that. I'm arguing, should we constantly be beating it into the heads of the young people? That's my argument.
No, but, okay, just for example, in the news today, it's like, we can say, like, men and women, the workplace has gotten more equal. You look at the Fox News situation that's breaking today. You have a major news organization, quote unquote, that really pretends to be, that apparently women were systematically sexually harassed by the highest level of the people running the network for 20 years, and it wasn't covered until like now and today.
All right, now they're sued and they make money.
But that's like, it's like saying, well, women, it's fine in the workplace. It's like, you know, I think those of us who are male and white shouldn't be. That we should be open to the fact that other people have different experiences than we do, and that like being
who
a woman,
says that's not part of the curriculum? It's not saying be closed-minded to other people and their experiences. It's about, should you teach people about this?
I wish someone had taught Roger Ailes and someone had taught Bill O'Reilly what you can and cannot do. I wish.
How about Robert Kennedy?
Same thing, absolutely.
Okay, so someone should teach all males not to want to fuck hot blondes who they work with. I agree.
I'm all fine.
We're now
with
living in a utopia.
But not
done.
But
next problem.
There's a difference between wanting to fuck and forcing to fuck to keep a job. You know, there's the rub. There's the line.
What did Kennedy do?
I don't know if I don't know which Kennedy are we talking about. The VJ,
John Kennedy. John Kennedy would get in a swimming pool and tell this chicks like interns and stuff, secretaries, to go blow the other guy in the shallow end. Should we get rid of him?
Well, I think they did get rid of him.
Yes, but you don't give a shit about him.
I do give a shit about him. I mean, no, I'm fascinated.
Not in a negative way.
Not
Bill Clinton and him get a pass, but it's all got to be Ailes and O'Reilly.
I don't give Bill Clinton a pass.
Okay, good. I agree. At least we're consistent. Yeah, but who says? Look, the point is anytime they're dudes, anytime there's chicks, anytime guys are wired, they're wired, there's going to be this. But can we suss it out? Can we bring it to the light? Can somebody lose their job? Can somebody get a payday? And if the answer is yes, then that probably makes our culture better than other cultures. That's my argument. I'm not saying you can't make male sexuality go away. God knows we're trying, but we can't get it to go away. We can't. But can we bring it to justice? See, in other cultures, I don't think it ever sees the light of day when it comes to justice. In our culture, I argue that we do eventually find it, we do blow a whistle, and we do bring it to justice. Or at least there's a punitive part of this, whether it's Bill Cosby or Bill O'Reilly or anyone else named Bill.
As it pertains to Cosby and O'Reilly, David, I feel like in the situation you're talking about specifically, Bill O'Reilly was sheltered and or forgiven and or protected for whatever reason, not because he was a white male.
What did Letterman do?
Well, hold on. Same thing, exact same thing. Not because he's a white male. I think it's because he's an earner or because he's a big, famous face for the network or he brought in a lot of advertisers or whatever it is. Like he is a prominent person, same as Bill Cosby.
But do you want Letterman? Did you want Letterman thrown off the air? Did you have the same ire for Letterman?
No, I didn't have I didn't have the same ire for him.
Why not?
Because I don't think from what I know, and listen, I don't know everything, but what I know, what he did was not as offensive as what Roger Ailes was doing.
So like a little rape, a dusting of rape, a dusting of sexual abuse.
No, having sexual relations with people in the workplace is not the same as forcing people to and telling them they had to below you to keep a job or to get a job. That's different.
But different, but still, but passable.
I've never done any of this. You know,
but Trump talking about pussy, that's not passable. Letterman fucking in his fuck room, that is passable. And then the blowjob, not passable. I feel like there's you got a lot of room in your what's passable sexually.
Did I ever say anything to you about the pussy thing? I didn't.
It's not an acceptable thing, I think.
It's not the way I talk, and it's not, and it's not the way.
Right, but Letterman, Letterman's not as big a deal.
Letterman was, as I understand it, sleeping with people at his office. I don't think he.
I think we can all agree objectively that what Letterman did wasn't as bad as O'Reilly did. If we're talking about
but we're
apples to
still
apples.
fucking on company. We're banging underlings in our office. That's bad, right?
At the end of the day, that is true. Yeah.
All right. So if you're going to be morally outraged, you should be morally outraged at Fox and at Letterman.
Yeah, probably for that reason. Yeah.
I just want to know where the Letterman moral outrage was for consistency.
I am not as outraged as I am outraged at Roger Ailes, the guy who started the network and built himself a testament to his own libido and fetish for blonde women in short skirts, who he then spent 20 years forcing to wear the outfits and building a network on, right-wing talk and showing, basically, beaver shots. That was sort of that's the combo platter. That's a combo platter that he was serving up, and it's a very toxic one for our society. It's one of the reasons you're yelling at me right now or not happy with me right now is that we've been taught that it's like, I think you are an honorable guy. I've seen you with women. You treat women with respect. You're
too good.
No, but I'm saying I think we're both the same guy. I don't have any. There's no woman who could say this about me. There's tons of women apparently who said it about Roger Ailes, and there's
I agree. This is something that has gone on historically forever.
People fucking is not the problem. It's people fucking them as a part of getting a gig. That's not okay.
Okay, but I think you know what I'm talking about, which is zero ire for Letterman, who was at a 6 or 7, and tons of ire for Roger Ailes, who's a 9 or 10. I think it's a weird way to calibrate yourself.
I think you're right about that, and part of it. Yeah.
How about everybody for Letterman? Everyone in this town for Letterman. I didn't hear anything about Letterman. There was zero outrage.
But I never heard one thing that said he was forcing himself on anyone.
No, but
and
having sex. But first off, having sex with underlings at the workplace implies a sort of move up the ladder. It implies we've always said that, and everyone's always thought that way. The reason you don't get to have sex with the interns or the receptionists is because when the boss man does it, it's implied that it's a way to climb up the ladder. Or if you don't do it, there could be issues. It doesn't have to be spoken. That's why the activity itself is always frowned upon, because it's an unspoken.
Rat girl.
Thank you. Gary, what was the story? What was the Letterman story? I don't know. I'm just saying, in terms of consistency, we should be equally or almost equally outraged at both acts. I just haven't heard any toward the Letterman camp. That's all.
I just never heard one.
I was under the impression he was just having affairs, which is gross, but I assume that happens. I assume that happens on a lot of big-time TV shows.
But what if O'Reilly was just having affairs with interns in his office?
I don't think it would be as gross or reprehensible.
Would David would give him a pass?
I wouldn't think it was my business. Particularly.
So he's just banging interns in his office, and it all came out. You'd say I can't render an opinion on this.
David Letterman was...
That's inconsistent, David Wild. You would not say you can't render an opinion. You say he's a gross old dude who preaches one thing and does something else.
Here's...
but anyway, what is the story? Sorry.
Yeah, he was extorted by a former assistant and employee, and the blackmailer alleged that he was going to expose that he had sex with multiple employees, and Letterman confirmed that was true, but he didn't give details.
Okay. So I would say reprehensible in terms of the way our society's laid out. I don't care. But I'd say when we're morally outraged by everything, one could take some moral outrage at this act. But I didn't hear any as it pertained to him.
I guess I don't have moral outrage about people who have affairs.
All right, so just real clear. O'Reilly banging interns and or secretaries in his office would not be an issue.
The issue is if you are saying you have to put out to stay here or to get a gig. That's
all right. So otherwise, it's
that's
just
harassment.
Consenting adults.
Yeah, and I assume most guys want to get laid by most women. I mean, what do you think? I'm sitting here next to Gina for free all day.
You.
Yeah.
No, I'm just.
He shows up on days he's not even scheduled.
At work. All right. Well, this is it's quite a position to be on for someone who is on the right side of the story as you are. I just think sex at work with underlings sounds like you'd be outraged by it.
I've never done it.
I've never done it either.
Just so we're clear, we're not supposed to do that here, right?
Well,
it's a
I've
mixed
been
message
hearing
we're
a
getting.
steady
It's really-
Now I need
drumbeat
to
of
rewire
how
my
insanely,
Get over here, Loxamana.
how unacceptable it is. That's all. And listen, I'm not defending O'Reilly. I don't even know. I actually don't know, other than he got fired and there was lawsuits, and I'm sure they got stuff. I don't know all that's going on over there. But I'm just saying, if you have this kind of righteous indignation for this, you should have half of it for Letterman. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't even have that righteous indignation. I don't know enough of the details of O'Reilly. I know enough to know it's good that they got rid of him, in my opinion. But and it's the right thing to do. But Roger Ailes is, to me, a monster.
Well,
an
so
absolute
Ailes,
monster.
but then what's O'Reilly doing? Do we know what he did?
Yeah, well, I mean, the most recent thing that I think, what his defense was that no one has called the helpline and for a long time he goes, in other words, he settled all these, I think there's 5 settled deals. I don't know if there was a mix of how many Fox did the settlements and how many he did personally. I don't know the details of that, but the most recent thing was that a woman who was not under contract. I think
Gretchen Carlson?
Well, no, Gretchen. The problem is all the women who worked at Fox News signed all these deals where they had to arbitrate sexual harassment or any legal issue. The problem was that the good thing was, in my point of view, is that this is a woman who was like on air as occasional appearances, and she had dinner with him, and he basically said to her, "You got to come up to my room and be with me, or else, you're not going to work here. You're not going to get this gig. I'm not giving you any career advice." So that's and then that's opened up floodgates, because now there's a law firm, I believe, Paul Weiss Wharton Rifkin, which is a big
Irish?
Exactly, big Irish firm. My brother used to work at, and I think they started investigating. And once you investigate, because the problem is they've been covering up stuff for 20 years. Roger Ailes. Just read up on Roger Ailes. If you read the New York Magazine coverage, it's disgusting. I'm not as liberal as you think I am. I'm not as feminist, although I am. I like to think of myself as a feminist. It's just he's a gross monster.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I think O'Reilly has to go. And there's other bosses at Fox News who were there and who let it all happen.
Yeah. Well, anyway, back to this country. No one's going to get acid thrown in their face. No one's going to get shot. Somebody's going to get paid, and somebody might go to prison or might be penalized in a way.
So another career harmed.
Which is kind of, it's kind of my, it's kind of my slavery argument, which is people go, "Hey, man, we did slavery here," and it's like, okay, the whole world did slavery, but at some point we fought a war to stop it, and we stopped it. So yes, it's a bad thing, but in a way, we should get some points for
Coming to that
fighting a war
conclusion.
that it was a bad thing. Well,
less
many
than
other
100 years
people were
into being country, we realized
still
that.
engaged in it, and we stopped it. And this went on for too long, but somebody figured it out. Somebody blew a whistle. Some news reporter got on, whatever it is. O'Reilly's shit canned. Somebody's getting some multi-million-dollar checks, and who knows where it ends. Gary, you going to say something?
No, sorry.
Okay.
Well, and this really harkens back to your calendar privilege, which I really love that phrase now.
Yes,
Because
calendar privilege. Because if this had happened in the 60s, these women would have been Chappaquiticized.
oh, my God.
Oh, dear.
Well, and did you watch Mad Men?
I know.
There you go.
I know.
No, that's
I
exactly
never
what I was
watched
thinking.
it, but they would have been called a whore and said they're going to bring disgrace to their family.
And not only that, but spoiler alert, you get one of them pregnant and she leaves and goes to have a baby and has a baby in shame and comes back years later. I mean, you're right. That wouldn't go down the way it does now.
Whatever your gender and whatever your skin color is, better that this happened now where you get a multi-million-dollar payday versus shamed in a scarlet letter.
It's a real silver lining,
and that
yeah.
was 50 years ago. Right. Thanks. I agree with me.